Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating book that makes a bold claim. A massive shift in how we think isn't on the horizon, it's already here. We're talking about Dr. Bishnu Goswami's The End of Solo Thinking.
So let's just jump right in with the core question the book grapples with. For pretty much all of human history, right? Deep, serious thinking was something you did by yourself, inside your own head. But what happens when that's not true anymore? What happens when our reasoning becomes a genuine conversation with an artificial mind?
I mean, think about it. For thousands of years, building a complex argument, figuring out a long-term strategy, that was all us. It all happened in the human brain. Computers could crunch numbers, sure, but they couldn't really reason with you. Well, according to this book, that era, the era of the solo thinker, is over.
To really get a handle on this new world, the book gives us a name for it: dialogic intelligence. And this is key. It's not about humans versus machines, not at all. It's about a totally new kind of thinking that's born from the partnership itself. It's what happens in that back and forth, that structured conversation between us and an AI.
And this quote from the book really says it all, doesn't it? The whole point here isn't to get you all hyped up about a shiny new future, and it's definitely not about fear-mongering. The goal is just to look with clear eyes at what's actually happening now that our thinking is starting to exist outside of our own skulls.
So you might be wondering, how did a book with such a wild idea even come about? Well, and this is the really cool part, the answer is in how it was created. It wasn't just written about this new way of thinking, it was pretty much born from it.
You see, the whole project started kind of by accident. Dr. Goswami was just having a conversation with an AI. He expected it to be fluent, to sound good. What he did not expect was for it to have real depth. But as he pushed it, asking tougher and tougher questions, something amazing happened. The AI's reasoning didn't collapse. It held up, even when jumping between totally different subjects. And that's when he realized something big was happening. The book, in a very real way, grew right out of that surprising conversation.
Okay, so once this new dialogic intelligence was discovered, how do you test it? You don't play it safe. Instead, the author took it on what he calls a grand tour across, well, pretty much the entire map of human knowledge.
He essentially threw it into the deep end over and over again. They didn't just talk about simple things. They tackled the big stuff. Like, when they discussed poetry, it wasn't just about rhyme schemes. The conversation connected the emotional core of a poem to the way we think about military strategy. Seriously. When they looked at why our institutions are failing, it pinpointed the hidden rules that are causing our public debates to just fall apart. This was a true stress test, pushing this new kind of thinking to its absolute limits.
And what I love about this image is how it shows what the book is really doing. It's not just a collection of separate conversations, it's about uncovering this new, hidden network that connects all these different fields, physics, storytelling, philosophy, into one big, interconnected architecture of thought.
So, after this incredible journey across the entire landscape of human thought, what's the big takeaway? What does all this actually mean for you and me, for the human mind?
This is the absolute core of it. Think of it like this. Your deepest thoughts used to be like private property, your own personal infrastructure. But now we're seeing that infrastructure become public. It's becoming a shared architecture that we all can plug into. Our minds are becoming part of a much bigger network.
And look, it's really important to get this straight. This is not a story about humans becoming obsolete. The end of solo thinking doesn't diminish us. What it does is change the world we think in. And by changing our environment, it might just radically expand the kinds of problems we can even dare to solve.
But this book doesn't just leave you with these big, abstract ideas. Nope, it ends with a direct challenge. It gives us a set of real, practical experiments so we can start to see this new reality playing out in our own lives.
It calls them experiments for the distributed mind. First, it asks you to map your cognitive environment. Just start noticing all the ways your thinking isn't just happening in your head anymore. Second, detect structural collapse. Next time you're in a disagreement, try to step back and analyze it like an architect looking at a building that's about to fall down, instead of just being one of the people inside arguing. The third is really interesting: bandwidth modulation. Try to catch yourself when you deliberately dumb down your own arguments just to keep the peace. And finally, the optimization audit. Try to reframe a strong moral judgment you have, not as right or wrong, but as a result of hidden incentives. It's all designed to make you aware of how you're already a part of this new world.
And that leads us to the final, really provocative question the book leaves us with. It's a challenge, really. A challenge to look at our own lives, our work, our relationships, and ask ourselves, where am I still thinking completely on my own? And for how much longer?